Well, by the title of this movie, we are going to be making the front axle wider so I can accommodate some bigger tires. So obviously my front end is heavily modified with some leaf springs, but this isn't too far off what you would be doing with your stock tractor. Stock tractors use a center pivot point, and then those two slots are limiters, so it can only pivot so far. So basically you could just chop it there and chop it there and then extend it, and I'll show you how I'm going to extend it. But what I'm going to be doing is chopping, I'm not sure where I'm going to be chopping it, but I'm going to be chopping that, and I have another axle, and I will be taking that axle and adding X amount of inches to accommodate some bigger tires. Now the tires I got on there now are these 16-inch snapper tires, and these are pretty good. They're pretty okay tread. They're skinny. I kind of like them, but they're not as good as these tires I picked up the other day. These are 19 by 7 by 8-inch rims. These are off a Chinese ATV. I can't even pronounce who makes these. They're made in China. But I couldn't pass these up for 20 bucks. I got these tires, 19-inch, a little bit fatter and whatever. Got more meat and stuff on it, and these will help me off on the trail a lot more. So I'm going to be doing my rim mod that I do to basically all my tires to accommodate these. This is where you cut the sides off and weld it to the rim so I can take my stock rims and modify them. So I have a spare tractor outside, spare frame actually on a tractor, but I'll be taking the front rims off that, putting the bushings in those wheels, and welding them to these rims here. So I'm going to pull the axle off now, and then once I'm done doing that, I'll probably weld the rims to that or do some measurements and whatever. Into the magic of editing. Done. Now I got rims. Just got to take the bushings out because those ones are all worn down. Now a perfect reason to explain why I'm doing this instead of just taking the rim and welding it to this rim or whatever is because that causes lots of spindle bending and lots of stress and stuff like that. It's not just bending spindles because it's so far extended out. It also affects the scrub radius. Say your pivot point for the axle where the spindle drops down and comes down was like out here instead of right here. Well, now this tire has to roll up and then roll back down, so it's a lot harder on not just the axle, but it's also harder on steering and stuff like that. There's just steering was just made for mowing lawns, so that's the reason why I'm welding these to that like this. I'm going to be taking the other side off, but I'm going to be welding like that and then extending the axle so it doesn't hit the frame and whatever, because these are a lot bigger tires on this. So not a lot bigger, but they're wider, and they're a lot wider than the other ones. So that's why I'm doing that. As you can see, I still got the other rim and stuff to go, but thought this was a good point to show why I'm doing this and not just welding. I call it cheating, welding that to that, and just lots of stress, and I really don't recommend that, especially with the rear wheels too. That also causes transaxle snapping. Okay, so I welded these rims to rims, just laid 3 of these long beads on each of them. I put the bushings in this one. It's came out pretty good. I need to strip the paint off these ones though, because they're kind of rusty and stuff, especially that one. That one had water in it. But here's my spare axle. I started cutting up these axles, and it was 22 inches from bottom corner to where the other bottom corner was, so I need to add 2 inches on each side, so it's going to be a 26-inch axle. Well, I cut, let's pretend like this was all one axle before. I cut about 6 inches out the middle of this axle. This is my original axle that I have under the tractor. I cut 6 inches out of this axle here, and the reason why I didn't like cut the ends or something and then elongated them with the original knuckles. I'm keeping the original spindles and stuff, the original ends, but the reason why I didn't cut it here is because this one has 2 slots, and I thought that would be a weaker axle especially a stamped axle. So I tried to avoid using the stamped, those two more stamped slots. And this is what I came up with over here. This is all ready to weld and stuff. And I have this piece of square stock or whatever, this T-stock, or I'm not sure what you want to call it, but there's that 6-inch middle section from my parts axle, and here's the ends of my original one here, and it's all true and level underneath. So I have it there, and it's all flat and it's ready to get welded up. Same thing, so I'll put that side on there. I gotta grind these off, and I might reuse them or something, I'm not sure, but those keep it so the axle don't walk around on a leash there. So I gotta weld this all up, and then I gotta make a new tie rod because obviously it's a wider axle. So here's my tie rod now, and it hasn't bent. Seems like everyone bends their Craftsman tie rods, but this one, MTD, yeah, go MTD, yeah. It hasn't bent yet, so I'll just cut it in the middle or something. I don't know if I have any tube. I can't really think off the top of my head that I got a large diameter wall pipe that would work. I just got like 5/8 stuff, so I think I'll do 5/8 bar or something like that. Just make this even more stronger than it already is. So that should work out pretty nicely, and let's get to it. Well, I got the whole axle all welded up here, and got all my welds grinded down, except for on the bottom. But anyways, I cut out these 2x2 pieces of plate, and I'm going to be welding these over that on both sides on the four there, and underneath there, and that'll strengthen it up like a hell of a bunch. So I got 4 of them all cut out and whatever, and my big ass plate down there, and gonna weld that all on and sand it down and stuff. So here it is, all the diamonds on it, and welds came out amazingly good. That's a word. But yeah, that's how those are welded down. They look, I guess, kind of cool. I don't know, functional purpose more than looks, but yeah, those are welded on really, really good. These are welded together really good. It's a relatively strong axle. I guess with the leaf springs, I don't have to worry about axle breakage as much because they, have a somewhat of forgiveness versus standard mowers. But anyways, I think I'm gonna get this underneath the tractor now, or work on the tie rod or something like that. But I'm gonna get it on a tractor so I can measure out the tie rod, but I can finally put the tires on, see how it looks. Well, working into the night, and the axle's in, all bolted up and mounted square, and yeah, square all in the middle and stuff like that, and I'll torque down and whatever. And I'm still working on a tie rod, and that's actually what I'm showing here. I finished it. Still a little warm, but I took that steering linkage from my spare MTD. This is one of the steering links there, and I just kind of cut the end off. It's a little bit bigger, so I did that, and I butt welded them to the original one here, and then I took some of this pipe, which is a little bit more bigger diameter than both of those, and I welded those over that. So I don't know how this will hold up, but only time will tell, which not really a big problem with this. I don't think this will be a big problem because it didn't really bend before. So I'll throw this back in there and see how square it looks and whatever. Hopefully I did all my measuring right. And this will be fine. It's relatively straight, I guess. Kind of see a little bend in there. Not a big deal. I guess I could hammer that out with a sledge or something like that. But I'll put that in there, and then if everything goes right, I'll just hook everything up. Look at that. It's all done. Yeah, everything all hooked up. I had to massaged the tie rod, or the not tie rod, or whatever, push rod, I don't know what you want to call it. Started bending at that joint when I was blasting some snowbanks or whatever, but it fits a lot better now. And obviously there's the new 19s on there. It's obviously wider than the back there, the back tires there, but not by much. I would say maybe about 3 inches at most. But I have that 820 I want to put in there. There's my parts 820, but I got the 12-inch rims. Those are a little bit offset, and I believe the 820 is a little bit wider than this one. I'm not sure, but yeah, I gotta put them tires, and I'm planning on getting the tires to wrap around them 12-inch rims. So I got the big tires up front now. And tie rod, I guess, is a little bit short, but it's not really a big deal. I guess it's not really a big deal until I take this thing for a test drive, and I need to figure out a new steering box for this thing, because them stock gears take a lot of abuse, and with these bigger tires, 7-inch wide tires now, I bet you I'm skipping gears right now on that thing. So not like skipping constantly, just having the gears pop and crack and stuff, make all sorts of bad noises. But that's the next mod. But underneath, you can see where my keepers are, those little teeth on my leaf pad here. They actually hug right up against the diamonds, so I didn't have to put those pieces back on. Plan on making some steering stops, just some bolts welded on these plates there. I'm gonna wrap this video up for tonight, because go inside a little bit or whatever. But I like this. It should work out pretty good. Just kind of a how-to video, I guess, how to put oversized tires on this. And I guess you could put any size tire you really wanted to on this. A lot of other people tend to lift the front of their mowers. Like, I've seen one guy was running 22s, but he lifted it 5 inches in the front. And not that it looked bad, because he had like 25s in the back. Like, it kind of offset it, but I'm kind of more about keeping the low center of gravity kind of thing. I mean, put bigger tires on it, but I don't want to lift anything really. The lower to the ground, the better, especially on side inclines and whatever. It's kind of just how I am. Seems like lifting a mower would only be good for deep water and whatever, but I got a little bit of clearance, maybe like 1.5 inches theoretically underneath the front axle now, and that should work pretty good. So I got to go test it out tomorrow or something like that. And yeah, cheers guys. I hope this video helps somebody out there, or at least entertains you for the night. So thanks for watching.